Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Imagine standing before an awe-inspiring structure, one that could have rivaled the greatest wonders of the world, except it was never finished. Throughout history, countless grand monuments and megastructures were left incomplete. Some were halted due to war, others because of financial struggles. But what if some were abandoned for reasons far more mysterious, or even terrifying? Take, for example, the Great Pyramid's lost twin. While most people are familiar with the iconic Pyramid of Khufu, few know that an even grander pyramid was once planned but inexplicably abandoned. Then there's the legendary Tower of Babel, said to have been built to reach the heavens before divine forces allegedly struck it down. These are just two of the many ambitious projects that were mysteriously left unfinished. In this video, we're diving deep into history's most puzzling abandoned megastructures. We'll explore the strange stories behind these unfinished wonders, massive temples, towering pyramids, colossal cities, each with its own tale of ambition, failure, and mystery. Were these projects doomed by human misfortune, or were they abandoned due to something beyond our understanding? Let's uncover the truth behind history's greatest unfinished marvels. One of history's most famous unfinished structures is the legendary Tower of Babel, a monument so grand it was said to reach the heavens. But was it truly struck down by divine wrath, or is there a more grounded explanation for why it was never completed? The story of the Tower of Babel comes from the Book of Genesis, which tells of a time when humanity spoke a single language and worked together to build a tower that would reach the sky. According to the biblical account, God saw this as an act of arrogance and punished the people by scattering them across the earth and confusing their languages, making it impossible for them to continue their work. The tower was left unfinished, becoming one of history's greatest cautionary tales about human ambition. But beyond the religious narrative, could this story have been based on a real structure? Many historians and archaeologists believe that the Tower of Babel may have been inspired by a real-life megastructure, the Etemenanke Ziggurat of Babylon. This massive step pyramid, dedicated to the god Marduk, was one of the most impressive structures of its time. Built around the 6th century BCE under King Nebuchadnezzar II, Etemenanke was believed to have stood nearly 300 feet tall. However, historical records suggest that it was later abandoned and ultimately destroyed. So, what really happened to the Tower of Babel? Was it simply a case of overambition? Some theories suggest that environmental factors such as earthquakes or flooding could have played a role. Others propose that constant warfare in the region, especially between the Babylonians and later conquerors like the Persians and Alexander the Great, led to its downfall. In fact, Alexander reportedly ordered the tower to be rebuilt, but after surveying the site, his engineers concluded that the damage was too extensive and the project was abandoned. Was the Tower of Babel truly a cursed project, punished by the gods? Or was it just another victim of the same challenges that have plagued grand construction efforts throughout history, war, politics, and the limitations of ancient engineering? Whatever the case, its legend has endured for millennia, continuing to fuel speculation about one of history's most mysterious unfinished wonders. While the Great Pyramid of Giza stands as an eternal monument to Pharaoh Khufu, few people know that his successor, Djedefre, attempted to build an even greater pyramid, one that was mysteriously left incomplete and later almost entirely destroyed. Was this simply a case of political rivalry and bad luck, or was there something more sinister at play? Djedefre was the son of Khufu and ruled Egypt after his father's death. Unlike Khufu, who built his pyramid at Giza, Djedefre chose a different location, Abu Rawash, a rocky plateau further north. His decision to abandon Giza has puzzled historians for centuries. Some believe he was trying to break away from his father's legacy, while others suggest he may have had a strategic or religious reason for building elsewhere. Djedefre's pyramid was intended to surpass the Great Pyramid in grandeur. Some Egyptologists theorize that it was designed to be the tallest pyramid ever constructed, which would have made Djedefre's name even greater than his father's. But something happened. Construction stopped, and the pyramid was left unfinished. Even more strangely, it wasn't just abandoned, it was later actively dismantled. One theory suggests that Djedefre was an unpopular ruler and that his legacy was intentionally erased by later pharaohs. Some historians believe there may have been a power struggle within the royal family, with Djedefre possibly seizing the throne unfairly, leading his successors to destroy his pyramid out of revenge. Others point to the later dismantling of the structure during Roman times, when its stone was repurposed for other buildings. But what if there was another reason? Some speculate that Djedefre's pyramid was abandoned due to supernatural fears. Egyptian culture was deeply rooted in beliefs about the afterlife, curses, and divine intervention. Could something have happened during the construction that made workers too afraid to continue? Legends of ancient curses and omens have long surrounded Egyptian tombs, and some wonder if a similar fate befell Djedefre's ambitious project. Whether it was a case of political sabotage, economic difficulties, or something far more mysterious, Djedefre's unfinished pyramid remains one of Egypt's great historical enigmas. Today, little remains of the structure, but the mystery of why it was abandoned continues to intrigue archaeologists and historians alike. The most famous of these, the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, remains in a nearby quarry, abandoned mid-extraction. Even larger stones, such as the 200-ton Stone of the South, were also left unfinished. Why? Some theories suggest that the Romans, despite their engineering prowess, simply could not transport these blocks to the temple site. Others believe that an earthquake or another natural disaster disrupted construction, but an even more controversial theory proposes that Baalbek's foundations predate the Romans entirely. Some researchers suggest that an earlier, unknown civilization, possibly the Phoenicians or an even more ancient culture, first began work on the site and that the Romans merely built upon an already existing foundation. This theory is fueled by the sheer size of the megaliths and the precise cutting techniques, which some argue are beyond what was common in Roman engineering. Could Baalbek be evidence of a forgotten chapter of history, where an ancient civilization possessed construction techniques lost to time? Or was it simply an overambitious Roman project that proved impossible to complete? Whatever the truth, the abandoned stone blocks of Baalbek remain one of the most perplexing architectural mysteries of the ancient world. The most famous of these, massive stones, the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, remains in a nearby quarry, abandoned mid-extraction. This enormous limestone block, weighing over 1,000 tons, is one of the largest known stones ever cut by human hands. But even this is not the largest at Baalbek. Another massive megalith, the Stone of the South, weighs an estimated 200 tons, and yet another recently discovered block reaches an astonishing 1,650 tons. These stones, hewn with remarkable precision, were seemingly intended to be transported and incorporated into the foundations of the temple complex, but for reasons still debated, they were never moved. Theories on why the stones were abandoned. One of the most widely accepted theories is that the Romans, despite their advanced engineering skills, were unable to transport such massive blocks. While the Romans were capable of incredible feats of construction, such as the Colosseum, aqueducts, and intricate road systems, moving stones of this magnitude posed an extreme logistical challenge. Even modern cranes would struggle to lift such immense weights, leading some to wonder how the ancient builders even managed to quarry them in the first place. Some suggest that construction may have started with the intent of moving the stones, but as the challenge became insurmountable, the project was simply abandoned. Another possibility is that a natural disaster, such as an earthquake, disrupted the project. The region surrounding Baalbek is seismically active, and tremors could have caused structural failures in the quarry or disrupted ongoing construction. If the stones were damaged or the workforce scattered due to a natural catastrophe, work on them may have been permanently halted. Some researchers believe that economic or political upheaval may have played a role in the abandonment of these stones. Ancient construction projects required a vast workforce, often made up of skilled laborers, slaves, and engineers. A sudden war, invasion, or economic downturn could have diverted resources away from Baalbek, leaving the site incomplete. The mystery of Baalbek's true origins beyond the Roman explanations. A more controversial theory suggests that the Romans were not the original builders of the massive foundation stones at Baalbek. Some researchers propose that the site predates the Romans entirely, and that earlier civilizations, possibly the Phoenicians or even a lost unknown culture, first began work on the site. The Romans, according to this theory, merely built on top of an already existing megalithic foundation. Supporters of this idea point to the stark contrast in building techniques at Baalbek. The lower foundation stones, known as the trilithon, consist of 3 colossal blocks, each weighing around 800 tons, stacked perfectly in place. These megaliths fit together with extreme precision, a technique often seen in other ancient sites that remain shrouded in mystery, such as the megalithic ruins of Sacsayhuaman in Peru or the Osirian at Abydos in Egypt. Unlike standard Roman construction, which often relied on mortar and smaller cut stones, the trilithon's blocks appear to have been carefully placed using an unknown method. Could Baalbek be evidence of a lost civilization? Some alternative historians and researchers suggest that the immense scale of Baalbek's foundation stones hints at lost or forgotten engineering techniques, perhaps even technology far beyond what we associate with ancient civilizations. Certain fringe theories even propose that Baalbek may have been an ancient power center or spaceport for an advanced civilization, possibly linked to the gods described in Mesopotamian and Phoenician mythology. While mainstream archaeology dismisses these ideas as speculation, the mystery of why these stones were quarried and left unfinished remains unresolved. Whether Baalbek's megaliths are the result of an overambitious Roman project, the work of an unknown civilization, or simply victims of an unforeseen disaster, one thing is clear: the sheer size and precision of these stones continue to defy easy explanation. Until new discoveries shed light on their true origins, the abandoned megaliths of Baalbek will remain one of the most perplexing enigmas of the ancient world. Could Baalbek be evidence of a forgotten chapter in history? The massive stone blocks at Baalbek are not just an architectural anomaly. They challenge our understanding of ancient engineering, raising questions about whether an advanced civilization may have once possessed construction techniques that have since been lost to time. The sheer size, precision, and mysterious abandonment of these megaliths suggests that the story of Baalbek might be far older and more complex than mainstream history acknowledges. The scale and precision of Baalbek's megaliths, Baalbek's foundations, particularly the trilithon, a set of 3 massive stone blocks, each weighing around 800 tons, are among the largest cut and placed stones in the ancient world. These megaliths are not only gigantic, but also positioned with incredible accuracy, fitting together seamlessly without the use of mortar. Modern engineers have expressed amazement at the precision of their placement, as well as the difficulty of moving such enormous stones, even with today's technology. But the mystery deepens when considering the even larger, unfinished blocks still lying in the nearby quarry. The stone of the pregnant woman, estimated at 1,000 tons, the stone of the south, 200 tons, and the largest known megalith discovered at Baalbek, exceeding 1,150 tons, suggest that the builders intended to move stones even more massive than those already in place. This raises a critical question. If the Romans were responsible for these stones, why did they attempt to move blocks so large that even modern cranes would struggle with them? Was Baalbek more than a Roman project? The official explanation attributes much of Baalbek's construction to the Romans, particularly under Emperor Augustus, who transformed the site into a grand religious complex dedicated to Jupiter. However, the Roman temples, impressive as they are, stand on a foundation that appears much older and of a completely different construction style. The Romans were master builders, but their typical construction methods involved smaller, more manageable stone blocks, often held together with mortar and concrete. The trilithon and other megaliths at Baalbek, by contrast, resemble the mysterious, precisely cut stonework seen at other ancient sites, such as Machu Picchu in Peru, Ollantaytambo, and the Osirian at Abydos in Egypt. This has led some researchers to theorize that the Romans merely built upon an existing foundation left behind by a much older civilization. The Phoenicians, known for their advanced maritime trade networks and skilled craftsmanship, have been suggested as a possible candidate. However, no definitive evidence links them directly to the megalithic construction at Baalbek. Lost technology and alternative theories. If Baalbek's megaliths were not solely a Roman endeavor, who built them and how? Some theories propose that an ancient civilization may have possessed construction techniques now lost to history. Several possibilities have been suggested: advanced quarrying and moving techniques. Some researchers speculate that the builders of Baalbek may have had knowledge of sophisticated methods for lifting and transporting massive stones, potentially involving counterweights, levers, or even techniques similar to those used in modern magnetic levitation. However, no archaeological evidence has yet been found to confirm such methods. A lost civilization. Predating known history, some believe that Baalbek could be evidence of an unknown civilization, one that flourished long before recorded history. This idea aligns with theories that suggest the existence of an advanced, pre-Ice Age culture capable of large-scale stone construction, similar to those proposed for sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Ancient high technology or lost knowledge. A more controversial hypothesis is that ancient builders might have used forms of sound frequency manipulation, water pressure systems, or even anti-gravity technology to move the stones. While such ideas remain in the realm of speculation, they highlight the fact that even with modern machinery, moving the Baalbek megaliths would be an extraordinary challenge. Why was the project abandoned? Regardless of who originally began the work at Baalbek, another pressing mystery is why it was left incomplete. Some potential explanations include engineering limitations. If the builders, whether Roman or an earlier civilization, had planned to move even larger stones, but ultimately found the task too difficult, they may have simply abandoned the effort. Seismic activity. Lebanon lies in an earthquake-prone region, and a major quake could have disrupted construction, leading workers to abandon the site. Political or economic instability. Large-scale construction projects require immense resources and labor forces. A sudden shift in political power, an economic crisis or war could have halted the project indefinitely. Supernatural or religious beliefs. Some ancient cultures were highly superstitious, and if the workers believed the site was cursed or had angered the gods, they may have abandoned it out of fear. Baalbek's enduring mystery, whatever the truth. Maybe the abandoned stone blocks of Baalbek continue to defy simple explanations. Whether they represent an overambitious Roman project or the remnants of an ancient civilization with lost knowledge, the site remains one of the most intriguing architectural enigmas of the ancient world. Until further discoveries shed light on Baalbek's true origins, it will remain a testament to human ambition, mystery, and the possibility that history may hold secrets yet to be uncovered. Lying in an ancient quarry in Aswan, Egypt, the unfinished obelisk is one of the most astonishing yet enigmatic remnants of the ancient world. Had it been completed, it would have stood as the largest obelisk ever erected, towering at an estimated 42 meters, 137 feet tall, and weighing a staggering 1,200 tons, making it nearly one-third larger than any standing Egyptian obelisk today. However, despite the incredible effort invested in shaping it, the project was abruptly abandoned. The official explanation for its abandonment is straightforward. The stone developed large cracks during the carving process, rendering it structurally unsound. But was that the only reason? Or could something deeper, perhaps a divine warning or a curse, have played a role in its fate? The purpose of obelisks in ancient Egypt. Obelisks were not merely decorative monuments. They held deep spiritual and religious significance. The Egyptians believed these towering stone pillars represented a petrified ray of the sun, honoring the sun god Ra. They were often erected at temple entrances, serving as conduits between the heavens and the earthly realm. Their sheer size and perfect symmetry symbolized the power of the pharaohs, who commissioned them as grand testaments to their rule. Carving an obelisk was an immense undertaking, requiring precise cutting directly from bedrock using dolerite. Pounding stones, one of the hardest rocks available at the time. Workers would hammer away tirelessly, shaping the stone over months or even years, before carefully transporting it to its final location, often hundreds of miles away. So why was the largest obelisk ever attempted left behind? The official explanation, a fatal flaw in the stone. Archaeologists generally agree that the project was abandoned due to the appearance of cracks in the granite as the obelisk neared completion. If the stone were to be moved and erected, these structural weaknesses could have caused a catastrophic break, leading to failure after years of effort. The ancient Egyptians, known for their precision and perfectionism, would not have risked using a flawed monument. However, some argue that this does not fully explain the abandonment. Smaller obelisks with minor flaws were sometimes modified or repaired, yet this one was completely forsaken. Was there another reason? Was the unfinished obelisk doomed by an omen? Ancient Egyptian society was deeply spiritual, and omens and divine signs played a major role in decision-making, especially regarding grand monuments meant to honor the gods. Could it be that the obelisk was abandoned not just because of its cracks, but because those cracks were seen as an ill omen? Possible supernatural explanations. A sign from the gods. In ancient Egypt, cracks in a structure, especially one dedicated to the gods, could be seen as a divine rejection of the project. If priests or officials interpreted the cracks as a bad omen, they might have ordered its abandonment to avoid angering the gods. The pharaoh's doom. Some historians speculate that this obelisk may have been commissioned by Queen Hatshepsut, one of Egypt's most powerful female rulers. If this is true, and the obelisk was meant to cement her legacy, could its failure have been taken as a warning against her reign? Hatshepsut's monuments were later defaced by her successor, suggesting that political and religious factors might have been at play. A curse on the builders. Ancient Egyptians feared tomb curses and divine wrath. If an unusual number of workers had died during its construction, or if strange events occurred, the workforce may have refused to continue, fearing supernatural consequences. The monument that never was, while mainstream archaeology attributes the obelisk's abandonment purely to structural failure, the possibility of spiritual warnings, divine rejection, or political struggles cannot be ruled out. Whether the unfinished obelisk was left behind due to engineering failure or an ominous sign from the gods, it remains one of the greatest what-ifs of ancient Egypt, a monument that never reached the skies, yet still speaks to us from its rocky cradle. Its colossal size and the mystery surrounding its fate continue to fascinate historians, archaeologists, and theorists alike. Would the unfinished obelisk have stood as the greatest achievement of Egyptian engineering, or was it always destined to remain in its quarry, a silent reminder of the limits of human ambition? Deep in the lush mountains of West Java, Indonesia, lies Gunung Padang, a site that challenges everything we thought we knew about human history. At first glance, it appears to be just another hill covered in ancient stone terraces. But beneath the surface, researchers have uncovered something astonishing. Evidence that Gunung Padang may not just be a megalithic site, but the world's oldest known pyramid, predating even the Egyptian pyramids by thousands of years. Could this be proof of a lost civilization, one that thrived long before recorded history? And if so, why was its construction abandoned? Was it halted by a natural disaster, or did the builders mysteriously vanish, leaving behind a half-finished monument to an age long forgotten? A megalithic mystery, older than history, Gunung Padang was first documented in 1914, but local legends about the site go back centuries. It is considered a sacred place by the Sundanese people, who believe it was built by supernatural beings. However, modern excavations have revealed that it is far older than previously assumed, possibly dating back as far as 24,000 years ago. The site's most striking features include massive basalt columns, arranged in terrace-like formations, resembling other megalithic sites around the world, an artificial pyramid-like structure hidden beneath layers of soil and vegetation, as suggested by geophysical surveys, multiple layers of construction, indicating that different civilizations may have built upon it over thousands of years. If confirmed, this would rewrite human history. The conventional timeline states that the first major civilizations, like Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, emerged around 5,000, 6,000 years ago. But Gunung Padang appears to have been inhabited and possibly engineered by an advanced society. Long before that, at a time when mainstream archaeology assumes humans were simple hunter-gatherers. Was it built in phases over thousands of years? What makes Gunung Padang even more mysterious is the layered structure beneath it. The top layer consists of stone terraces that have been dated to around 2,500 years ago, roughly aligning with known megalithic cultures in Southeast Asia. Beneath that, a second layer has been dated to around 8,000 years ago, long before the pyramids of Egypt. But even deeper layers have been discovered, possibly dating as far back as 20,000, 24,000 years ago, a time when mainstream history tells us there should have been no advanced human societies. Some researchers believe that Gunung Padang started as a natural volcanic hill, but was then shaped and modified by human hands over many millennia, layer by layer. This suggests a continuity of civilization, or possibly multiple civilizations, returning. to the site and adding to it over vast periods of time. Why was it abandoned? If Gunung Padang was an ancient pyramid in progress, why was it never completed? Several theories have emerged. 1. An ancient cataclysm wiped out the builders. One of the most intriguing possibilities is that a global catastrophe, such as the Younger Dryas impact event around 12,800 years ago, may have disrupted construction. Some scientists believe a comet or asteroid impact triggered rapid climate change, leading to massive floods, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. This aligns with the great flood myths found in many ancient cultures, from the Sumerians' Epic of Gilgamesh to the biblical story of Noah. If Gunung Padang was part of an early, advanced civilization, could it have been destroyed by such a cataclysm, leaving only its foundation behind? 2. Geological instability, forced abandonment. Indonesia sits on the Ring of Fire, one of the most seismically active regions on Earth. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions could have made construction impossible, leading the builders to abandon the project. 3. A lost civilization, simply disappeared. If Gunung Padang was built by an unknown prehistoric civilization, what happened to them? Did they migrate due to climate change? Were they wiped out by disease, war, or famine? Could they have been assimilated into other cultures, leaving behind only a half-finished monument? Could Gunung Padang rewrite history? The implications of Gunung Padang are staggering. If the deepest layers of the site are truly 24,000 years old, it would mean that civilization began far earlier than mainstream history acknowledges. It would support controversial theories that propose an advanced global culture existed before the end of the Ice Age, only to be wiped out by disaster. Further excavations and dating efforts will be crucial to confirming Gunung Padang's true age and significance. But if the findings hold up, this mysterious Indonesian pyramid could change everything we thought we knew about human history, forcing us to reconsider the possibility of a lost civilization whose knowledge and achievements have been buried by time. Towering above the ancient ruins of Baalbek, Lebanon, the Temple of Jupiter is one of the most awe-inspiring yet perplexing sites of the ancient world. Built during the Roman era, it was meant to be the grandest temple in the empire, dwarfing even the Parthenon in Athens. But despite the Romans' legendary engineering skills, the temple was never fully completed, and some of its most massive stones remain a mystery. Could the unfinished sections of Baalbek's Temple of Jupiter be evidence of lost ancient technology, or even extraterrestrial intervention? Why do some researchers believe that giants or an unknown advanced civilization may have played a role in its construction? And why was such an ambitious project ultimately left incomplete? The mind-boggling scale of the Temple of Jupiter originally. Constructed by the Romans in the 1st century CE, the Temple of Jupiter was intended to be the centerpiece of Heliopolis, a grand sanctuary dedicated to the chief deity of the Roman pantheon. But unlike other Roman temples, Baalbek's foundation includes 3 of the largest stone blocks ever used in construction, known as the trilithon. Each of these stones weighs an estimated 801 or 200 tons. They are precision-cut and stacked atop other massive blocks, forming a platform far beyond typical Roman construction techniques. Even modern cranes would struggle to move such enormous stones, raising the question, how did ancient builders transport and lift them? The Romans were master engineers, known for constructing aqueducts, roads, and amphitheaters across their empire. But even by Roman standards, the Temple of Jupiter's foundation is an anomaly. Some historians argue that the Romans may have simply built upon an even older structure, reusing megalithic stones that predated their arrival. Was Baalbek originally built by an unknown civilization? The idea that the Romans inherited an older, unfinished structure has led to speculation that Baalbek may have been the site of a much earlier civilization, one capable of moving and shaping enormous stones with lost engineering techniques. Theories on Baalbek's true origins: a pre-Roman megalithic culture. Some researchers propose that the foundation stones of Baalbek far predate the Romans, possibly dating back thousands of years. The lack of inscriptions or definitive historical records about their construction fuels this theory. Lost ancient technology. How could people of the ancient world cut, transport, and position stones weighing over 1,000 tons with such precision? Some suggest the use of unknown levitation techniques, giant pulleys, or even an early form of anti-gravity technology. The giants of Baalbek. Local legends speak of giants who once lived in the region and built these massive structures. Some theories link these myths to biblical references of the Nephilim, ancient beings of enormous strength who were said to have interacted with early civilizations. Theories on Baalbek's true origins. A pre-Roman megalithic culture. Some scholars suggest that Baalbek's foundation was built by an advanced civilization predating the Romans, possibly thousands of years earlier. The lack of inscriptions or documentation about the site's earliest construction phase raises questions about its true origins. If the Romans merely built upon an existing megalithic platform, then who originally laid these stones, and how? This theory aligns with other sites around the world, such as Sacsayhuaman in Peru or Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, where massive ancient stonework predates later civilizations that occupied the area. Lost ancient technology. Even by today's standards, moving and positioning 1,000-ton blocks with such precision would be a near impossible feat. Some researchers believe that Baalbek's builders possessed advanced construction techniques that have since been lost. Speculative ideas range from giant pulley systems powered by manpower or beasts, sound or vibration-based levitation, similar to Tibetan legends of monks moving stones with sound frequencies. Anti-gravity technology, a controversial notion suggesting the use of unknown energy forces to move these massive stones effortlessly. While mainstream archaeologists dismiss these ideas, Baalbek's sheer scale continues to raise questions about how ancient civilizations accomplished such feats. The giants of Baalbek legends from the region speak of ancient giants who once roamed the earth, possessing superhuman strength and the ability to lift massive stones. Some researchers connect these myths to the biblical Nephilim, the mysterious offspring of fallen angels and humans mentioned in the Book of Genesis. Could these myths be distorted memories of a prehistoric race of giant builders? While there is no physical evidence to support this theory, similar stories of ancient giants appear extraterrestrial intervention. One of the most controversial theories suggests that Baalbek may have been an ancient landing platform for alien spacecraft. Proponents argue that the site's sheer scale and advanced engineering could indicate assistance from otherworldly beings, similar to theories surrounding the pyramids of Egypt and the Nazca lines of Peru. Why was the Temple of Jupiter left unfinished? If Baalbek was meant to be the grandest temple of the Roman Empire, why was it never fully completed? Several possibilities exist. War and political instability. The Roman Empire was frequently at war, and Baalbek was located in a region prone to conflicts. The temple's construction may have been halted due to political turmoil or invasion. Natural disasters. Earthquakes are common in the region and may have damaged the site before completion, leading the Romans to abandon further work. Structural challenges. The sheer weight of the foundation stones might have posed engineering problems even for the Romans, causing them to scale back their original vision. A religious shift. As Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, traditional pagan temples fell out of favor. The site may have been abandoned as religious priorities changed. A monument to forgotten knowledge. The Temple of Jupiter remains one of the greatest unfinished wonders of the ancient world. Whether it was abandoned due to war, natural disaster, or technical limitations, its mysterious origins and massive stone blocks continue to fuel debate. 4. Extraterrestrial intervention. One of the most controversial theories suggests that Baalbek may have served as an ancient landing platform for alien spacecraft. Proponents of the ancient astronaut theory argue that the site's enormous stones and advanced engineering hint at outside assistance. Key points fueling this idea. The flat elevated platform could have served as a launch or landing pad. Similar unexplained megalithic sites exist around the world, e.g. Pumapunku in Bolivia and the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Ancient Sumerian texts describe gods descending from the sky, which some interpret as early descriptions of extraterrestrial encounters. While mainstream historians dismiss this as pseudoscience, the precise construction and inexplicable weight of Baalbek's stones continue to challenge conventional explanations. Why was the Temple of Jupiter left unfinished? If the Romans intended to make Baalbek the grandest temple in the empire, why, Was it never fully completed? Several possibilities exist. War and political instability. Baalbek was located in a region frequently embroiled in conflicts between the Romans, Persians, and later Islamic forces. Construction may have been disrupted or abandoned due to shifting political and military priorities. Natural disasters. The Lebanon region is prone to earthquakes, and significant seismic activity could have damaged parts of the temple, making further construction unfeasible. Some scholars believe that a major earthquake may have struck before the temple was finished, forcing builders to leave it incomplete. Structural challenges. Even for the Romans, the sheer weight of the megalithic stones may have posed engineering difficulties. If they struggled to lift or stabilize the massive blocks, they may have chosen to scale back or halt the project. A religious shift. During the later years of the Roman Empire, Christianity began to replace pagan religions. By the time Emperor Constantine embraced Christianity in the 4th century CE, many Roman temples were abandoned, repurposed, or even destroyed. Baalbek's Temple of Jupiter may have been left incomplete as the empire's religious focus shifted. A monument to forgotten knowledge. Baalbek's massive unfinished stones and its enigmatic construction methods make it one of the world's most perplexing ancient sites. Whether abandoned due to war, disaster, or engineering limits, the site's origins remain one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. Could Baalbek be a forgotten key to understanding an ancient civilization with engineering knowledge beyond what we currently comprehend? Or are we simply underestimating the ingenuity of past builders? Whatever the truth may be, Baalbek stands as a testament to human ambition, lost knowledge, and enduring mystery, a place where history, legend, and speculation collide. The mysterious Yonaguni Monument, sunken city or natural formation. Off the coast of Yonaguni Island, Japan, lies one of the most debated underwater structures in history. Discovered in 1986 by a local diver, the Yonaguni Monument is a massive submerged rock formation that resembles a stepped pyramid or an ancient city, complete with terraces, pillars, and what some claim to be roads and staircases. But the biggest mystery surrounding Yonaguni is this: is it a naturally occurring geological formation, or the remains of an advanced prehistoric civilization lost to the sea? The discovery and initial theories. The structure, resting 25 meters 82 feet below sea level, was first spotted by diving instructor Kihachiro Arataki while exploring the seabed. What he found was a vast stone structure with features that looked artificially shaped. The formation includes flat terraces resembling platforms, straight, sharp-angled edges that do not appear naturally eroded step-like structures and corridors, possible carvings or inscriptions on some surfaces. Some researchers, including Japanese geologist Dr. Masaki Kimura, argue that these formations bear a striking resemblance to ancient temples and monuments found on land in Japan and other parts of Asia. This has led to the controversial theory that Yonaguni was once part of an ancient civilization that existed over 10,000 years ago, before being swallowed by the rising seas. The case for an ancient civilization. Architectural-like features, Dr. Kimura and other proponents of the man-made theory argue that Yonaguni exhibits signs of intentional construction, including symmetrically cut terraces and staircases that are difficult to explain as purely natural formations. A large central structure that resembles stepped pyramids from other ancient cultures, such as the Mayan and Mesopotamian ziggurats. What appears to be a road running along one side of the monument. Possible inscriptions or petroglyphs, suggesting human modification. 2. Connections to the Jomon civilization. If the structure is artificial, who could have built it? Some researchers suggest it may be linked to Japan's ancient Jomon people, 14,300 BCE, an early civilization known for intricate pottery and potential seafaring capabilities. However, mainstream historians argue that the Jomon were not known for large-scale stone architecture, making their connection to Yonaguni uncertain. Evidence of an ancient cataclysm. One of the most intriguing theories is that Yonaguni was once above water, but was submerged due to catastrophic sea level rise at the end of the last ice age, around 10,000 years ago. This aligns with other submerged sites worldwide, such as Dwarka, India, an ancient city said to have been swallowed by the ocean, Bimini Road, Bahamas, a mysterious underwater formation some believe to be part of Atlantis. If true, this would suggest that an advanced civilization existed long before recorded history, challenging mainstream timelines of human development. The case for a natural formation. On the other side of the debate, many geologists argue that Yonaguni is simply a natural geological formation, shaped by underwater currents and tectonic activity over thousands of years. Natural sandstone erosion. The rock formation consists of sandstone, which naturally fractures in straight lines over time. Similar stepped formations occur naturally due to tectonic uplift and erosion, forming sharp edges and geometric-looking structures. No clear evidence of tool. Marks on light confirmed ancient ruins. No direct evidence, such as chisel marks, inscriptions, or built foundations, has been found to prove that humans carved the formations. Some supposed carvings may simply be natural cracks in the rock. No artifacts discovered, unlike ancient cities like Pompeii or Göbekli Tepe. No pottery, tools, or human remains have been found at Yonaguni, leading skeptics to argue that it was never inhabited. Was Yonaguni abandoned due to a tsunami? One possible explanation for Yonaguni's current state, regardless of whether it was natural or man-made, is that it was devastated by an ancient tsunami. Japan is one of the world's most seismically active regions, and major tsunamis have shaped its coastline for millennia. Some researchers speculate that a massive tsunami around 2,000–3,000 years ago may have damaged or buried any remnants of an ancient civilization, while others suggest a more cataclysmic event at the end of the Ice Age could have submerged the site entirely. A lost chapter in human history? Whether a lost sunken city or a geological wonder, the Yonaguni Monument remains one of the world's most intriguing underwater discoveries. If future research proves it was an artificial structure, it could rewrite history, pushing back the timeline of advanced civilizations thousands of years earlier than currently believed. So, was Yonaguni an ancient city lost to rising seas, a forgotten civilization that predates all known cultures? Or is it merely an impressive trick of nature, shaped by the forces of time and tide? Until more evidence surfaces, the Yonaguni Monument remains a tantalizing mystery, hidden beneath the waves, waiting to reveal its secrets. Other unfinished megastructures and theories. Throughout history, grand architectural projects have been left unfinished, some due to war, others due to financial or technical limitations. But what if some were abandoned for more mysterious reasons? From ancient pyramids to legendary wonders, let's explore additional unfinished megastructures and the theories behind their sudden abandonment. The unfinished dolmens of the Caucasus, scattered across the Caucasus Mountains. These megalithic stone tombs, known as dolmens, remain one of the most perplexing prehistoric structures. While some were completed, others appear abandoned mid-construction, with massive stone slabs left unassembled. Theories behind their abandonment. Sudden cataclysm. Were these structures being built when an earthquake or natural disaster struck, forcing people to flee? Mysterious builders. Some believe an unknown culture was responsible for these structures, but their civilization disappeared before they could complete them. Astronomical alignment. Some researchers propose that the dolmens were meant to align with celestial bodies, but miscalculations may have led to abandonment. The twin pyramids of Teotihuacan, hidden and unfinished. Teotihuacan, the great ancient city in Mexico, is famous for its Pyramid of the Sun and Pyramid of the Moon. However, some theories suggest that the site once had plans for twin pyramids, one of which remains buried or was left unfinished. Theories behind their abandonment, ritual sacrifices gone wrong. Some believe construction halted due to ritualistic events, possibly involving human sacrifices that led to fear or divine warnings. Geological weakness. The region is volcanically active, so a seismic event may have made further construction too dangerous. Sudden civilization collapse. The mysterious decline of Teotihuacan's civilization around 550 CE may have left many projects incomplete. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, did they ever exist? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon are often considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, yet no physical evidence of their existence has been found. Could it be that they were planned but never completed? Theories behind their mystery. Historical exaggeration. Some scholars believe the gardens were a legend, based on secondhand accounts rather than real structures. Misidentified location. Some argue the gardens were not in Babylon at all, but rather in Nineveh, built by the Assyrians. Destroyed before completion. If the gardens were real, could they have been abandoned due to war or natural disaster before they became the lush paradise described in ancient texts? Recurring themes. Why were so many megastructures left unfinished? Across different civilizations and time periods, we see recurring patterns in why large-scale construction projects were suddenly halted. War and invasion. Many grand projects were interrupted by foreign invasions or civil wars, leading to abandonment. Natural disasters. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions may have wiped out builders or made sites unstable. Divine warnings and omens. Ancient cultures often saw bad omens as a sign to stop construction, fearing the Ides, wrath of gods, lost knowledge and forgotten techniques. Some projects may have been too ambitious, relying on techniques that were later lost or deemed impractical. Financial and resource issues. Even in ancient times, funding and resources played a crucial role in whether projects could be completed. A pattern of forgotten ambitions. From the Tower of Babel to the pyramids, temples, and mysterious underwater cities, the world is filled with unfinished megastructures, monuments to lost ambitions, and forgotten knowledge. Whether abandoned due to war, divine warnings, or a mystery yet to be uncovered, these sites continue to intrigue historians, archaeologists, and mystery seekers alike. Could these unfinished wonders hold clues to long-lost civilizations or technologies beyond our understanding? Or are they simply the casualties of human limitations and historical circumstances? Whatever the case, the abandoned giants of the ancient world leave us with more questions than answers, ensuring their mystery endures through the ages. Conclusion and call to action. History is full of unfinished projects, some simply abandoned due to war or lack of resources, but others seem to hold secrets we still don't fully understand. From the Tower of Babel and the lost foundations of Baalbek to the sunken ruins of Yonaguni, these ancient structures raise questions that challenge our understanding of the past. Were these sites too ambitious for their time, or did something more mysterious stop their completion? Could they be evidence of lost knowledge, forgotten civilizations, or even divine intervention? Now it's your turn. Which of these unfinished megastructures do you think holds the darkest mystery? Was there one in particular that stood out to you as the most unexplainable? Let us know in the comments. If you love uncovering history's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of History Revealed. See you in the next deep dive into the past.